Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. In today's episode, we are talking about 5+ reasons why you're always hungry. There are many reasons that drive hunger. We're not going to be just talking about the physical hunger, but also psychological hunger. But more importantly, why you are always feeling hungry and why you also think that that's a problem. So first thing we need to address that it's normal as a human to be hungry. And we are, as human beings, we need to eat. We need to eat for fuel, we need to eat for energy, and we also eat for comfort. And sometimes that's okay, right? So I want to talk about at the same time, maybe you have certain goals that you're working at, or maybe you're just feeling like food is always on your mind. You just can't ever feel satisfied. Then this episode is for you. So listen up. So the first most obvious answer and reason why you're always hungry is probably because you're under eating. A lot of people think that being healthy means restricting their intake and eating very little bits, but really being healthy is adding more nutrient dense foods, more fruits, more vegetables, more lean proteins, more healthy fats, more whole grains. Adding more nutrient dense foods is ultimately what makes you healthy because they're nutritious, right? So under eating so much that you're feeling like you can't focus, you're super hungry, or you're tired all the time, chances are you're under eating. So you might think a healthy diet is 3 meals a day, but maybe your body needs 3 meals and 3 snacks. Who knows? We don't know. Everyone's body is different. So your caloric needs, your energy needs are going to be different based off of your age, your gender, your activity level, where you're at in your life and your fitness journey, all of those things. So if you are hungry, eat. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. We're going to address other reasons why you might be hungry. And if you have been honoring your hunger cues and actually eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full, and you recognize, I just ate and I'm still hungry, how can that be? We will talk about that, but I do want you to know that you have 110% permission to eat, and it's a very normal thing. And we biologically need to eat to live and survive. So if you are always hungry and you're still hungry, just eat the food. Okay, that's number one. Okay. Number two, it could be the type of food that you're consuming. So maybe you do need to add more foods that are higher in fiber. So maybe you thought carbs are bad, so you took out carbohydrates. Well, if you've been following me for a while, hopefully you know that is not true. We want to incorporate complex carbohydrates as much as we can, or more so than the refined carbs, but we don't want to negate carbs. So maybe you need more fibrous food. So maybe your grains, maybe you need something like quinoa is a good starchy grain that has more fiber. Maybe you need more things like sweet potato in your diet. Maybe you need more oatmeal. Maybe you just need more fruits and vegetables in your diet. So maybe you just need more fiber. Fiber helps us feel full. So you could be not getting enough fiber. So be mindful of that. Maybe you're not getting enough protein. So certain nutrients, if you're lacking, maybe you're not, protein helps with fullness as well. So you could be under consuming protein. So you could be having, adequate amount of calories, which is the unit for energy. So your body technically is getting what it needs, but it feels hungry because it's not getting the nutrients that it needs, right? It's not getting enough fiber. It's not getting enough protein. So that could be another reason why you are feeling hungry all the time. You could be, I'm sure you've heard this before. If you're hungry, you could just be thirsty. So drink some water. You could potentially being dehydrated sometimes shows up as hunger. So that is possible. So you could be dehydrated. So make sure you're staying hydrated with water. And that could maybe potentially, curb that a little bit. But that doesn't mean you're replacing your meals for water. I want to be clear about that. You could be just tired, not getting enough sleep, right? So if you're not getting adequate sleep and you're feeling really tired, then your body is going to look for energy and look for fuel, right? And so it wants more calories, and calories are a unit for energy. So if you're tired, your body's going to want more of it. So you're going to be hungry and you're going to want more of it. The other thing that could be happening with that, if you're being tired, you could also be overtraining. So not only are you tired because you're maybe not recovering enough, but maybe you're also burning excessive amounts of calories. Maybe you're training a lot harder. So the more you train, the more you have to fuel, right? And so if you really want to help, build muscle and gain strength and hit PRs in the gym, you have to eat for it. All right. So you could potentially be under eating or not eating enough for where you're at in your training level. And so as you increase your fitness, you're going to be hungrier. Now your hunger varies day to day. And I also think that that's also okay. I just want you to know that like, if you're not super hungry today, but then you feel like you're always hungry all the other days, then pay attention to that. Another reason, so see why there's so many more than just 5 reasons. Another reason could potentially be, maybe you're not eating enough during the day and then you overeat at night. I think you probably have heard that before. So you might be too busy or too stressed or too distracted to allow time for you to eat. So if you notice that you have big days where you're not hungry and then you overeat one day, so even though your hunger varies day to day, try to create some sort of consistency to help stabilize that. I think that would be super helpful. And that leads to the last reason. Actually, it's not the last one because I think that the most obvious one is that, if you're PMSing or during your menstrual cycle, if you are someone who menstruates, then that is where your hunger can be, your need for calories actually does go up. So it's why your hunger goes up as well. So that's the more obvious reason. But leading into going back to like being tired and stress and overtraining, stress can be that psychological hunger. Your body goes into fight or flight and it just like wants more food. It just needs it. You're stressed out. It also, as humans, like when you're having a rough day, when you're feeling really tired, we want food. It makes us feel better. It makes us feel comforted. So although that might not be physical hunger, maybe you just ate and you still want something after, that's what we call psychological hunger. It's also okay to honor that sometimes. Now, if you notice that most of the time, you're under eating, you're not eating balanced meals, you're training super hard, you're not resting enough, you're super stressed out, maybe you're just not taking care of yourself in the way that you need to be, and you're hungry all the time. Well, then the answer is let's take care of ourselves better. Okay? Let's drink more water. Let's try to get to bed at a more reasonable hour or get more adequate sleep. Let's focus on that fiber, adding in more nutrient dense foods, adding in more proteins wherever you can. Being mindful of that. If you're feeling tired, instead of having that second cup of coffee and pounding down the caffeine, maybe you need a little cat nap, right? So if you're always hungry, and you're eating enough, then it could be stress related. But if you're always hungry and you're not feeling satisfied, then I want you to eat. Okay. So either way, it's okay to eat if you're hungry. Okay. I think that it's crazy that we live in a world and a society where it makes you feel like that it's not okay. But if you are hungry, please eat. Okay. Those around you might be doing intermittent fasting. They might not be eating. They might be on a diet. Let them do them. You do you. Okay, you do you, and you eat when you're hungry, all right? You can always keep those other things in the back of your mind. One thing I always teach my clients is to check in. Before you act, check in. Quick little check in. How am I feeling? What is it that I need right now? Your body might be saying hunger, but maybe you really do need that nap, right? Maybe you do need just to lay down, or maybe you do drink water or walk outside to decompress a little bit, and then come back and be able to eat in a not super stressed state. Okay. So the answer definitely varies depending on where you're at in your journey, but it's most always as simple as if you're hungry, eat. But yeah, those are the 5+ reasons why, if you want me to rattle them off really quickly, again, I will, just to kind of recap. So you could be under eating. You could be having lack of fiber or protein. You could be dehydrated. You could be feeling, tired, stressed, overtraining, or PMSing or in your menstrual cycle. So that is it. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in learning how to honor your hunger, get back in touch with your hunger cues, not feel super hungry all the time so you can actually focus on what you want and be able to achieve and reach your goals, then you might be a good fit for our 6 months to Food Freedom program. Currently accepting applications, but I'm actually excited and overwhelmed and so happy to say that the spots of my dietitians are already filling up. So this episode is going out on Tuesday. I have like a bunch of discovery calls between now and then. So hopefully spots are not filled. Get your applications in. The sooner, the better. Okay. Go to www.tipswithtony.com. Watch the video about the program. Submit your application. We'll hop on a call. We'll see if you're a good fit. And then I'll pair you. If you're a good fit for the program, I'll decide which dietitian to put you with. They're both incredible. That is it. I'm excited. I hope that you learned something from this. I hope that you learn that it's okay to eat. I hope that you learn that if you're super hungry, that you could also be super stressed, and that it's time to take care of yourself. It's time to fuel yourself. It's time to rest. It's time to take care of you. Let me know what you learned from this. Take a screenshot of this episode, put it on your story, tag me at tips_with_Tony or the Tips with Tony podcast on Instagram, and let me know what you learned. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, this is Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.